I recently asked the former director of the Advanced Aerial Threat Identification Program at the Pentagon, point blank, are those the only videos that the government has? He said no, those were probably the least compelling videos. Guys.
Okay, that's crazy. I don't want to say I don't believe because I don't want them to come prove me wrong.
Exactly.
So, right. I'm with you. And by the way, think about every person who thinks they've seen something up in the sky. These are just the military confirmed ones.
I don't like it. I'd like to go back just like thinking that this isn't real.
Yeah, moving on.
I'd like to be happy in my ignorance.
That would be our government's position to tell us, but they've been lying that this has been happening.
Caught on camera, many people in the Corning area reported hearing a loud explosion over the weekend. Some described the sound as loud thunder, which allegedly shook one man's house.
Parts of New England shaken this morning. If you are on the South Shore and felt any shaking a short time ago, officials say it was not an earthquake.
And back here at home, a big boom mystery to talk about here. A lot of you heard it or felt it in South Charlotte today. It was some sort of loud explosion that happened. Now, Brad confirms it was not an earthquake, but actually 3 seismographs picked up whatever event this was. The shaking was so bad over at Myers Park High School, students and staff could feel it.
The U.S. Geological Survey says people may have felt a sonic boom or another atmospheric event.
That they could not locate the source of the boom, so the mystery continues.
The sound was recorded on a resident's Ring doorbell. Let's take a look. Now, 18 News reached out to law enforcement officials in the area, but the source of the disturbance remains unknown at this time.
Welcome back. There's something that just cannot be explained. We all know this, right?
The truth is out there, and now possibly more actual video evidence to go with it. Roll it.
Jeremy, incredible vision. What sets this apart from other UFO sightings captured in the past?
Yeah, it's a pleasure, David and Nat. Nice to be with you. Nice to be with you, Australia. This is a truly global story.
And we are getting new video from the Navy showing pyramid-shaped objects.
The Pentagon has confirmed a strange and unexpected sight captured by Navy personnel off the coast of California.
This video, taken in 2019, is the real deal.
In night vision video from a Navy destroyer, a mysterious flying triangle above the deck of the ship.
At one point, these UFOs reportedly hovered just 700 feet above the tail of the Navy destroyer, making, quote, extraordinary maneuvers.
And one of the triangles appears to join other triangles before the video abruptly ends.
Flying pyramid-shaped objects hovering above the USS Russell.
The Pentagon confirming the images obtained by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell were taken by Navy personnel.
I know it's hard for people to really, wrap their head around it, but it is real. That's no longer a point of conjecture at this point. We are well beyond that. The question is, what is it?
We're talking about objects picked up by satellite imagery that are difficult to explain.
But of course, there are other systems that are completely classified. These are highly documented. Look, they're coming to our warships and surrounding them on a mass scale. And this isn't the first thing. This has been going on for a long time. You're just seeing an open government policy now to talk about it.
Expected to be a part of a report on unidentified aerial phenomenon to be presented to Congress this summer. Already online, some skeptics say the images are caused by cameras trying to focus, but some of the objects go beyond just flying in the sky. One shows a spherical object dipping into the ocean, similar to an incident in Puerto Rico where an object was tracked buzzing an airport, then flying into the water, popping back out before appearing to split into two and disappearing.
It was leaked by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. He's also shared 3 images from the USS Omaha showing an unknown spherical craft.
Like another incident off the coast of California in 2004 when a fighter squadron encountered an object that seemed to defy gravity.
These cell phone photos taken by a FA-18 pilot in March of 2019 show 3 different unidentified aircrafts off the coast of Oceania, including 2 UFOs dubbed the Metallic Blimp and another called the Sphere. A Department of Defense spokesperson said, quote, "I can confirm that the referenced photos and videos were taken by Navy personnel." However, the Pentagon was unwilling to confirm these 3 photos, which Corbell says came from the USS Omaha, showing a UFO diving into the ocean and disappearing.
So that is significant in and of itself, how quickly they confirmed that these reports are contained within their educational briefings.
Over the last several weeks, some of the nation's top former intelligence officials have been raising eyebrows.
Look at that thing. It's rotating.
Former CIA Director R. James Woolsey said he knew of a case where a plane was paused in midair.
A friend of mine was able to have his aircraft stop at 40,000 feet or so and not continue operating as a normal aircraft. What was going on?
In December, ex-CIA Director John Brennan said it was arrogant to believe there are no other forms of life other than the ones on Earth.
An object that was able to break the air to sea barrier without destruction. So transmedium means it can move between air, space, and sea without destruction or impact. And that's what they're seeing with these true unknowns.
What do you think it is?
I honestly don't know. I don't think that we have developed that technology. I don't think we developed it on this planet.
Did you see that fireball in the sky last night? A lot of NBC2 viewers caught the unexpected light show on camera. It was a beautiful sight. So what was it?
A streak of light across the night sky, look at it there, seen across
Amazing.
Florida's Atlantic coast.
Really cool. A spectacular sight that had many wondering, what could it be?
So here's the question, was it a meteor?
And looked like a lightning flash, which is super cool. What this may be, though, that's still up for debate with many experts.
Whatever it was, it sure made for a nice light show.
Meteors hit Earth's atmosphere like that pretty often. But what was so cool about this one was how many people saw it.
People from Jacksonville to Miami, as well as the Bahamas, saw this large fireball as it crossed the sky. Some people even say they heard a boom.
Quite a sight in the skies last night. It has a lot of people talking.
Witnesses saw a fireball moving diagonally as the unusual sight was seen from West Palm Beach to South Miami.
Usually when something comes in, it comes in, burns, and it burns out pretty quickly. This was seen all the way from northern Florida to the Bahamas, so the burn lasted quite a long time.
All of a sudden, we see this huge flash in the sky, and it's coming down towards the Earth, and it almost looks like, a huge sparkle of electricity coming off of a power line.
Before it could hit the ground.
Look at how bright that got. That was
really
incredible.
So was it a meteor or something else?
Now, some experts say it's time to embrace science fiction as nonfiction.
But what do you think's going on? This is getting kind of fascinating.
Skeptical.
Video from that encounter and 2 other incidents were officially released by the Pentagon last year. Now new signs.
That is an extraordinary piece of technology. Whoever is operating these technologies are far more advanced than anything we have in the U.S. arsenal, and that should be a warning sign.
So you're saying our government's been lying about extraterrestrial life along with the US government?
Whatever this is, whatever is represented by these advanced aerospace vehicles, I'm not saying it's extraterrestrial. I have no idea. That would be our government's position to tell us. But they've been lying that this has been happening. And so now the cat's out of the bag, toothpaste out of the tube. We're seeing a different type of attitude of world governments. And frankly, it's good. We have a right to know and a need to know as public in America, Australia, and around the world.
In tonight's sponsored Utah Success Stories, Doug Jessup gives us a preview of a nearly 30-minute interview with the owner of a supposedly cursed land in Utah. It's called Skinwalker Ranch.
Is the most scientifically studied paranormal hotspot on the planet.
Brandon Fugel bought the land 5 years ago and brought in a team of scientists to see if the legend was true.
I bought the ranch as a healthy skeptic. I had never seen a UFO, a ghost, an orb, or anything of the sort.
Fugel claims that he and his team have experienced unexplained phenomenon.
We saw a 40, 50-foot long silver disc hovering right above the mesa, right in front of us. This wasn't just a blinking light in the sky or something that was a little bit ambiguous. This was a solid object that appeared out of nowhere, and in fact over about a 20-second period performed maneuvers that I believe defy any propulsion physics that we're acquainted with.
So did you do one of those Did you see that?
We were in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. Be interesting to see what he says on that interview in advance of season 2 of The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, which does start in about a month on May 4th. And if you want to see more, obviously go to abc4.com to see more of Doug's story. But man, the History Channel doesn't just come here, Caesar, for nothing. So there might be something to this.
Okay, well, that is pretty extraordinary. We so appreciate that you're talking to us about this. Can this year get any weirder?
Or why they're here. Talk to me a little bit about alien motivations, because you analyze that as well, in that why they would be here for over such a long period of time without really showing themselves, except in tiny little slivers of insight, UFO sightings, things of that sort.
That they're going to be deceptive. That's one of the things I realized. So what forms of deception would there would be the neutral case, the negative case, and the positive case.
Abductions. It remains a controversial idea that they somehow take us like lab rats and do experiments on us. You've had that experience, right?
Yes, I have. I remember having a reoccurring dream or something that happened. It didn't come to me until the mid-'80s because I dismissed it. Just like I was raised as a Catholic. I don't consider myself a Catholic now, but that's what I was raised at. So when I was a little boy, I thought there were little devils coming into my room and escorting me. And I didn't think of it. I was a little boy, like, oh yeah, there were little devils in my room. Okay, whatever. They didn't hurt me. I don't remember, but I remember them taking me, doing screen memory. I thought I was in Monrovia Library Park. Next thing I know, I'm in this ship or something. And there's a table and this alien I was standing by, and the alien was about my height. Came up to me, just gave the classic stare, and boom, that's all I remember. And then fast forward to the early night. I've had lots of experiences, but one experience I've had, if you'd like me to highlight it, if there's time. Sure. The reason I have this go-to experience that I like to present, because it substantiates that this UFO phenomenon brings in a whole host of phenomenon. It's just not alien. Even if you agree on an ETH, it's still going to incorporate everything. Whether you believe in interdimensional ETH, it doesn't matter. So my experience was I was very, very heavily into meditation. Remember, New Age was huge at that time. So the late 80s, early 90s and stuff. And so my grandma was living at my mom's house because I was staying there for a while. And then because my grandma was sick, and then I'd watch her house. And so as I was sitting there, I was meditating and stuff. And I would always wanted an out-of-body experience. Well, one night I went to bed, and I guess I had a delayed reaction. And I woke up, I felt something happening, and I saw like a ball of light coming out of my chest. And I intuitively knew what that meant. And somebody asked, well, how do you know, Adrian? You've never had an out-of-body experience. How do you know? And all I'm saying is, well, how do you know you're hungry? You just do. I just intuitively knew. So I got through this tunnel thing, went in the dining room, heard my parents watching TV, and then I felt uneasy. Like riding a bike. Next, I need to go back. Whoever I need to do it, go back. So I was back. I woke up, and I remember thinking, wow, okay, that was interesting. And then next night, I thought there were criminals coming into the house. I didn't think aliens or anything. The kitchen, I live in my parents' tiny house. The kitchen, I remember thinking for a second, wow, it's awfully bright. The light's not that bright, whatever. I clenched my fists. I was ready to go. I was sitting up in the bed. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do battle. All of a sudden, I heard a voice very calmly. It was a male-ish voice. Very calmly said, don't worry, we're not going to hurt you. Boom. It was morning. I'm like, what the okay. And then I get a phone call. So my mom and my grandma had not only the two same dreams, but two psychic dreams, because they knew something happened to me. So my mom calls, and she goes, what happened? Are you okay? My grandma and I had a dream that the kitchen was on fire. I go, well, the kitchen was lit up, but it wasn't on fire. Are you okay? I said, I'm okay. I elaborated, and she listened, and that was that. But yeah, I understand how complex this phenomena is.
In those situations that have been alleged all over the world, these beings, wherever they're from, will communicate with humans, but it's always just to calm us down mostly, right?
To an unclassified format that we could talk about quickly enough. But frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. Some of those have been declassified. When we talk about sightings, we're talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery. that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. So
right now we're in this golden age for UFOs of demanding answers to the government, and we're starting to see some answers, asking for the release of whatever information the government has held. When you look at it in a long scale of things, the aliens are the ones who are the masters of secrecy. They're the ones that aren't letting us know what's going on more than our government.
They could solve disclosure real easy, couldn't they? Very easy. So the fact that they're not, that's already telling you something, Then if you go by existing data, you have someone like James Fox saying that, and you could see he was freaking out. Someone very credible apparently told him that they're walking among us. And they can get my book on Amazon. Just type my name. I will be putting my website on my book on my website, ufophilosopher.com.